Today I wanted to address some new case law. Well, in this case, this came from the Attorney General's office directly. This decision is called Matter of AB. It was decided by the Attorney General's office June 11, 2018. I actually made this recording today, June 12, 2018. So for me, it was yesterday. It clarifies what are the standards for asylum, what must be proven, what must be established to qualify for asylum under one of the 5 methods. One of those, a large method, is called membership, being persecuted for one's membership in a particular social group. It claims to overrule a previous big decision in a matter of ARCG. This was a very pivotal decision. A lot of immigration attorneys have used this decision to fight for applicants seeking asylum, people who are fleeing persecution based upon their status as a woman and fleeing an abusive relationship. Asylum relief is supposed to be only for people who are a member of a class of people, that class of people being targeted because of a specific trait, because of their specific membership in a specific particular group within the society that is at issue. So, matter of ARCG of 2014. It is overturning that decision to the extent that it caused confusion. An applicant seeking to establish persecution on account of membership in a particular social group must satisfy 2 requirements. First, the applicant must demonstrate membership in a group which is composed of members who share a common immutable characteristic. Common immutable characteristic is defined with particularity and is socially distinct within the society in question. That's really 3 elements in the first part of the inquiry. That common immutable characteristic of the group, this common trait that joins the people together. Is it a particular social group? It needs to be a specific one. It can't include the whole society. Men wearing pink shirts and blue bow ties. It's a very silly example, but let's say there's a group, they meet up once a month and they wear this clothes. And let's say they're being singled out for mistreatment. If they are being targeted because they are an actual group that exists, they actually meet up, they do things, they are known, they are a particular social group. What is their immutable characteristic? We know them because they all wear pink shirts and blue bow ties. At least that's how they are known by the society. So socially distinct within the society in question. You need social distinction. So this has to be a group that actually exists in the society and also is identifiable within the society. It's separate. It can be identified as a separate group in the society. Applicant's membership in that group must be a central reason for her persecution. When, as here, the alleged persecutor is someone unaffiliated with the government, the applicant must show that the flight from her country is necessary because her home government is unwilling or unable to protect her. Although there may be exceptional circumstances when victims of private criminal activity could meet these requirements, they must satisfy established standards when seeking asylum. Such applicants must establish membership in a particular and socially distinct group that exists independently of the alleged underlying harm. Demonstrate that their persecutors harmed them on account of their membership in that group rather than for personal reasons, and establish that government protection for such harm in their home country is so lacking that their persecutors' actions can be attributed to the government. So it's basically the government's fault because they either condone it or they are so lacking that it almost amounts to condoning it. They're basically responsible for lack of protections. Very applicable to the majority of Central Americans fleeing widespread gang violence, cartel violence, because you can see here from the rationale that personal reasons, along with a personal victim of crime, does not qualify. None of this is new. IJs, immigration judges, have been ruling this way for quite some time. The key is to bring the facts out so that the story amounts to someone who is fleeing persecution because of their membership in a group. But the story needs to effectively be presented, because asylum has been traditionally treated as a narrow remedy for those who are being persecuted, those who are being targeted, singled out, most of the time by a government. However, there are many circumstances where non-government actors could be the persecutor, and the government could still be responsible. The board's approach in ARCG was contrary to the appropriate way that the board has in the past and must in the future approach such asylum claims. Department of Homeland Security conceded several elements. The board did not go into an inquiry on those issues. Whether or not the group was cognizable, whether or not it was a particular and socially distinct group in that society. The board is concerned about a group being defined in a way by the harm that took place. That way any group would qualify. The board and immigration judges need to be convinced that this is an actual group, it's a particular group, it's a socially distinct group, it's distinct in the society, it's visible, identifiable. Yes, members of the society would agree that this is an actual group. It needs to exist independently of the harm that took place. They want to dig into the background of why were these people targeted. If someone just happened to get beat up, that would not qualify. Individuals in the group must share a narrowing characteristic other than their risk of being persecuted. The era of matter of ARCG has come to a close. That decision was being used in a very generous way by immigration judges and the board. So this has come to a close because of the clarification of this case, matter of AB. The law has not truly changed. The same standards apply, same clarifications are required, and the burden is still on the applicant to establish each and every one of these elements, that there is an actual group, this group actually exists, it's identifiable, it's recognized in the community at issue, it exists separately from the harm that was committed. Basically, this group was targeted and singled out for harm and persecution, either by the government or forces that exist in the society that are not controlled by the government or are somewhat connected or controlled to the government. That's it for today. I am going to continue bringing these updates of immigration case law, and that way we can all have a better understanding of how asylum immigration law works today, especially with all of the hysteria under this administration that we have right now under the Trump administration. Really digging into the case law here is going to be helpful information for all of us.